Do you know what people say about Toys R Us today? They say it's back and that it's better than ever. Is it true? Is Toys R Us the iconic toy retailer that went bankrupt, making a strategic comeback? The company has indeed announced huge plans, but what does the future hold for Toys R Us? How will they compete in an ever-changing toy market? In this video, I'm giving you a backstage pass to the dramatic business moves, strategies, and innovations that have reshaped this legendary brand. I'll also talk about the future of Toys R Us and the world of play. So stick around and don't forget to drop a comment if you know anything about Toys R Us that I didn't explain here. Toys R Us is an American toy, clothing, and baby product retailer founded in 1957. It was once one of the largest toy retailers in the world, with over 1,600 stores in 38 countries. However, the company filed for bankruptcy in 2017 and closed all of its stores in the United States and Canada. I'll discuss the bankruptcy later in this video, but first, let's quickly go over its origins, rise, and especially its fall. Origin and growth. In 1948, there was this guy named Charles P. Lazarus, and he had this neat idea. He opened a baby furniture store called Children's Bargain Town in Washington, D.C. A few years later, in 1957, something interesting happened. Lazarus decided to switch gears. He opened the first Toys R Us store in Rockville, Maryland. And it was all about toys, and more toys. He added a quirky twist to the logo, a backwards R, as a kid would have written it. Cute, right? As time passed, Toys R Us became the stuff of legends. Kids born in the 60s and 70s practically grew up there. It was like a dreamland, packed with action figures like Star Wars and G.I. Joe, adorable dolls like Cabbage Patch Kids and Rainbow Bright, and video games that made us all jump for joy like Super Mario. Now, let's zip to the 21st century. In 2000, John Eiler, who knew a thing or two from his time at FAO Schwartz, took charge as CEO. He had big plans to give Toys R Us a makeover. But here's the twist. Competition from giants like Walmart and Target was fierce. They even thought about splitting their toy and baby business. But then in 2005, something colossal happened. Many big-shot investors, including Bain Capital Partners, KKR, and Vornado Realty Trust, did a jaw-dropping $6.6 billion buyout. Toys R Us waved goodbye to the stock market and went private. Public stock traded for the last time on July 21st, 2005, at $26.75, marking a 63% increase since the company's initial announcement for being up for sale. Talk about a wild ride. In 2013, just before Christmas, Toys R Us made headlines by keeping their U.S. stores open for an unbelievable 87 hours straight. The Times Square flagship store went all out, staying open 24/7 throughout December, just for those excited tourists. Bankruptcy. In 2017, Toys R Us made a tough call. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Why? To deal with a massive $5 billion debt monster. They needed to borrow $2 billion to pay off suppliers for the upcoming holiday season and try to spruce up their operations. Also, they hadn't turned a profit since 2013. By the end of April 2017, they were staring at a daunting net loss of $164 million, a far cry from the $126 million loss the year before. In February 2018, they were looking at saving their Canadian operations and potentially selling off some corporate-owned stores to franchise, leaving about 200 in a slimmed-down chain. However, by March, it was clear the end was near. Bankruptcy court gave them the green light to liquidate their stores. Buyers showed interest, some eyeing the stores as showrooms, while others considered snatching up the brand and its intellectual property. What caused Toys R Us to fall? I can count several reasons for that. The rise of online shopping made it easier for customers to compare prices and find the best deals on toys. It has strained brick-and-mortar retailers like Toys R Us, who weren't quite serious about it and kept their focus on selling on sites only. Another reason for a decline was that Toys R Us was saddled with a heavy debt load, which made it difficult to invest in business and compete with its rivals. Also, consumers were increasingly looking for educational and experimental toys, rather than traditional ones like dolls and action figures. The global educational toy market is expected to grow to $17.2 billion by 2026, But Toys R Us was slow to adopt to this trend. They were still selling those old and boring toys that are so outdated today. Toys R Us was saddled with a heavy debt load, which made it difficult to invest in its business and compete with its rivals. That's what stopped them from being in the game and keeping up with the latest trends. Does Toys R Us still exist? Yes, Toys R Us still exists. The company closed all of its stores in the United States and Canada. However, in 2021, Toys R Us opened a handful of new stores in the United States and plans to expand further in the coming years as ownership changes. Who is the new owner of the toy company? I'll talk about that soon in the video. Toys R Us has a strong online presence and sells its products through its website and other online retailers. However, it is important to note that Toys R Us is no longer the same company it was before bankruptcy. The company has a smaller footprint and is facing several challenges. So there were signs that a strategic comeback was in the make for 2023 to 2024. Is Toys R Us coming back in 2023? Yes, Toys R Us is back in action. After facing bankruptcy and store closures, the company reemerged under True Kids in January 2019. Since then, they've been on a journey to make a comeback. Fast forward to June 2019, and they had big plans. They wanted to open new stores in the United States, but these would be smaller, about a third of the size of the old ones. Still, it was exciting news, and it wasn't all talk. On November 27, 2019, they opened a brand new store in Paramus, New Jersey, followed by another in Houston, Texas on December 7, 2019. It was a ray of hope for all toy lovers out there. Now, let's rewind a bit to October 2019. That's when they decided to spruce up their online game. They teamed up with Target to make it easier for us to buy toys online. But in 2020, Amazon took over the reins, making it even more convenient. Then 2021 came along and the pandemic hit hard. That led to the closure of at least 2 U.S. stores. The one in Houston shut down on January 15, 2021, and the Paramus store followed suit on January 26, 2021. But don't worry, it was all part of a plan to find better spots for the brand. Who is the new owner of Toys R Us? In March 2021, WHP Global bought a big chunk of True Kids, and yes, that's the new owner of Toys R Us. With the support of True Kids, Toys R Us was ready to make a grand return, and they had big plans to open Toys R Us stores all over North America in different shapes and sizes. In August 2021, they teamed up with Macy's. They started selling Toys R Us toys on Macy's website and even set up special sections inside Macy's stores. But the coolest part was in December 2021, they opened a huge 2-story flagship store in New Jersey, American Dream Mall. It was like stepping into a toy wonderland, and they didn't stop there. On August 7th, 2022, Toys R Us opened new stores inside Macy's stores in 9 states. They were of all sizes, from tiny to pretty big. Their big dream? To have a Toys R Us store in every Macy's by October 15th, 2022. Just in time for the holidays. On September 29th, 2023, WHP announced plans to open 24 new standalone Toys R Us stores in the United States, starting in 2024. They're even considering setting up smaller stores in airports and cruise ships. The first tiny store will open in November 2023 at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. How much money did Toys R Us make? Toys R Us is no small player in the toy retail game. Recent data shows that their annual revenue is a whopping $11.5 billion. That's a pretty impressive number, isn't it? Now, let's break it down a bit. Toys R Us has a considerable workforce of about 64,000 employees. When you crunch the numbers, each employee contributes to the company's revenue with an average of $179,687. When did Toys R Us peak in terms of revenue? Well, it was in 2022. When they reached that impressive $11.5 billion mark. That's a significant milestone in their journey. It's also interesting to note some investors who have shown interest in Toys R Us. They include heavyweight names like the Blackstone Group Incorporated, Mobius Venture Capital, KKR and Company Incorporated, and JP Morgan Chase and Company, who have provided various forms of financial support to the company. Future plans. Toys R Us is gearing up for a big comeback, and they're teaming up with Go Retail Group to make it happen. WHP Global, the parent company of Toys R Us, is joining forces with Go Retailer Group to open a series of flagship Toys R Us stores in the United States. The plan is to roll out 24 of these flagship stores over the next 10 years, with the first batch set to open in time for the holiday season 2024. Exciting, right? Now, you might be wondering, who is this Go Retail Group? Well, they're an Austin, Texas-based company that knows a thing or two about retail, especially pop-up shops and retail real estate. They operate a bunch of year-round retail stores and a whole bunch of seasonal pop-up shops. They even own calendars.com and manage stores under various banners like Go Toys and Games, Go Calendars, Games, and Attic Salt. They're cool spots for teens into home decor and pop culture. These flagship Toys R Us stores will be a big deal. They're not the massive stores of the past, they're more compact, around 10,000 to 15,000 square feet. They'll be popping up in experimental malls and under high-traffic retail locations. It's all about bringing the Toys R Us experience to prime spots where folks can easily access toy shopping fun. And let's not forget, Toys R Us is also making waves with its first airport store, set to open in Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. They're even exploring the world of cruise ships, where they will offer exclusive cruise-themed merchandise. So whether you're visiting a Macy's store, a flagship location, an airport, or even a cruise ship, Toys R Us ensures they're there to add a touch of joy to your shopping experience. Also, Toys R Us is teaming up with W.H. Smith, a well-known retail giant with over 1,700 stores worldwide, including more than 520 stores across the UK. This partnership is about bringing back the beloved Toys R Us experience to your doorstep. So what can you expect in these shop-in-shops at W.H. Smith? Well, get ready for a treat. You'll find a life-sized Geoffrey the Giraffe 3D sculpture, interactive experiences that'll make your visit extra fun, demonstration tables to check out the coolest toys and iconic visual elements that scream Toys R Us, plus a store layout that will have dedicated sections sorted by age, interest, and category, making it easy to find the perfect toy. But that's not all. The assortment of toys and games will be top-notch, featuring various products and activities from some of the best toy brands. The future looks bright for Toys R Us, and they're all set to spread the magic of toys in exciting new ways. What's your perspective on this toy company? Will they rule the toy industry once again? Let me know in the comments section below, and consider subscribing for more videos like this one.